Hello, welcome to the library. My name is Norman Buchwald, and I'm one of the librarians here at Chabot College. Today, I'm going to be showing you how to find literary criticisms from the library. Now, in general, you'll usually want to begin at the library homepage, which usually will begin with www.chabotcollege.edu/library. Right now, because I'm recording this in April 2020, we have a slight different variation to our URL. And that ends with index2.asp. And that takes you to our homepage, which ordinarily will look like this. From there, you'll want to do either two things. If your class had a library orientation or is about to have a library orientation in the near future, say in about a week, you will click on the Library Orientations tab, scroll down until you see the English 4 classes. It's alphabetical by course. Then after that, it's followed by the last name of your instructor. And then after that, you'll either see a list of text or texts or related topic as to what, say, the assignment's about. You click on that, and then from there, you can go on into looking at particular databases, other types of resources, as well as look on books devoted to say a particular author or work that you're reading on. We can provide you direct links to, say, books that especially focus on the work at hand. Otherwise, and actually let me begin on the home page here so you can see this better visually. If you don't have a library orientation either coming up or in the past, you'll want to click on the Databases tab. And then from there, click on the Literary Criticism tab, which is down here, not up here, down here, the fourth one from the left. Now, this particular page will lead you to various different databases that can especially be good for your topic in most cases. So this page is divided, as you can see, into various different boxes. The first one is simply an introduction, which tells you that you can find full-text literary criticisms and biographies of authors in our scholarly journals and ebooks. Most often, you'll often get cultural and historical background, but usually it'll be in reference to an individual work. From there, we have our general reference resource, the Dictionary of Literary Terms and Literary Theory. So if you want to look a certain concept up, you'll want to go there. Gale Literary Index is what I call the last place fail-safe. That's if for some reason you're having trouble finding something. It's just another index of what's in all the Gale resources. Gale is mainly the publisher that collects and puts together a lot of criticisms based on an individual author and work. So, I mean, this is useful, but it's not going to lead you anywhere to full text. So we're really not going to focus on that today, but I want you to be aware that that's there. Followed by, this has different names. Gale keeps changing the name of its literature database. These days, it's called Gale Literature. And one of the it actually cross-searches a number of Gale resources, including Literature Resource Center, which you might have heard from your instructor. It also has the name Gale Literary Sources, but that is our usually recommended starting point for looking up literary criticism, especially, say, if you have just finished reading your work of art, and you're saying, say, your poem, your short story, or your novel, or your play. And you're thinking of maybe what to write about. And so you can enter, say, the title of a novel or an author. Let's say, for example, you read Sula by Toni Morrison. And notice whenever I combine terms, we always put the boolean connector and in between all our search terms. And it gave us some different suggestions, which one of them came up that I don't want, so let me get, I might have to redo my search here. I think I'm going to have to, so bear with me. And then, click on the magnifying glass or your enter on your keyboard. And this will take you to a lot of resources. So as you can see, it found 440 results under literature criticism. There are also 61 biographies. And most of them will definitely be on the author Toni Morrison herself. We have what is called topic and work overviews. This is especially good after you've just done reading your book, and it can definitely give you, a good overhash of the novel, including how it's structured and its characters. So definitely a good place when you just finish reading your work. Sometimes, especially if there aren't a lot of criticisms, you might want to look at some reviews or news about the author, and it does go way back. We're not talking about the latest news. There will be news sources listed here from, say, the late 19th century, depending on the author, that you can find from here. This part is finding some additional, maybe primary sources. Sometimes they may be writings by the author herself. And then finally, we have multimedia, which in this case, unfortunately, I guess there isn't any. There is definitely ones that are probably include Toni Morrison herself, and maybe might even include any readings, but unfortunately, it looks like not for Sula. Most often, though, you'll either be looking for biographical information or literary criticism. When you select your category, you can then go ahead and start beginning to explore. Now, you notice the first ones are especially focused on Sula and another work of hers, Beloved. So we might want to scroll down a bit until we come across, works on Sula itself. And here is a literary criticism we can then explore. Most literary criticisms will be essays, usually published in a scholarly journal. Sometimes they may be chapters in books. And so document type that it gives it is called critical essay, and it's coming from volume 366 from Contemporary Literary Criticism, but that's where it's reprinted, is actually coming from the journal Contemporary Literature, volume 20, issue 2. And down below is our entire criticism. Notice that you have the option to have the criticism provided to you in audio format. And this can especially be useful if, say, you want to download it as an MP3 file, put it in your iPod or your smartphone, and listen to it while you're driving. That definitely can be a nice feature as you are thinking through what you want to write about for your paper. When you have a better idea what you're going to write about, you might want to click on the Search Within tab here and then enter any further search terms. So let's say that we're especially interested in culture in Ohio at the time, and maybe African Americans. We can select those as our additional terms, and it searches within our results. And you notice here it brought our results down to 65 results. And then from there, we can further explore these different literary criticisms. And let's say that we want to take a look at this one. I like my own dirt, disinterested violence, and shamelessness and suicide. Let's say, okay, this is definitely one that meets to our liking. We can then email the article to ourselves. So you notice this here, this envelope here. We click on that, enter our email address. Some databases also say from rather than from the vendor itself. I usually put in our own. I mean, if you're working in a team, you can definitely say it's from you and then send it. Notice you can send it to more than one email address with a semicolon. And then subject line is very important. You don't want it to be vague because sometimes the email will end up in your spam folder and you want to be able to easily find it. And then this is very, very important. Make sure your full text options are checked and then click on send. Then we close. Scroll down towards the bottom here. And you notice, by the way, that a lot of resources definitely will cite other sources. And in this case, we have some interviews, some secondary sources. Oh, we have a lot of other places we can explore. And if you want to find any of these, you can take like the title of the work, or you can take at least the whole entire citation, copy and paste it later, and then either search by either the author of the article or the title of the article, and then check to see if it's available in another database. On the bottom here, it gives you suggested citation examples. Now, this is very, very important for you to understand that you always want to double check your citations to make sure that they come up correctly. You can, by the way, export these to Noodle Tools, which is the citation software, the official one that Chabot College uses. There's also ability to export it to EasyBib and to even Google Drive or OneDrive, if you so desire. And your citation can be sent there. It's important that you understand that the indentation is correct and other aspects are correct. Most often errors can especially show up in APA because certain words should not be capitalized. But if it is if it does appear correct, or it's actually better yet, I say just go ahead and copy and paste it, and then you can quickly check your MLA manual or MLA handout later. You can click select copy, and then of course drop it elsewhere for the citation. So like I said, in most cases, you will begin wanting to search in Gale Literature. Other databases that are available here are the Articles Plus literature. That's the big Articles Plus. It cross-searches a whole bunch of databases at once, but it mainly focuses on databases that include literary criticisms. This is especially nice because, yeah, you could go to Gale, you could go to JSTOR, you could go to Project Muse, you could go to Humanities International Complete, you could go to Poetry and Short Story Reference Center. But this actually cross-searches a lot of those databases at once. In fact, practically everything that's on this page. And this is where you especially want to go when you want to search a lot of material, and especially if you're looking for something very, very, very specific. So from here, let's say that first you want to click where it says hello guest, log in for access. So you don't have this, you want to click on the full text and then it's suddenly telling you, well, you need to do this first. It's just easier to get that done here. Plus, you'll see more clearly what your full text options are once you're fully logged in. So now let's do a search, and for this example, let's do Henrik Ibsen and Dollhouse. Now, of course, we could just automatically do the auto suggest here, but let's say that didn't come up for whatever reason. We'll enter our terms on each line, then click on search. Notice that our blink connector is already there on the left. And then down here, as you see, we have a whole bunch of results, 2,946. By the way, if you'd gone into Articles Plus searching everything, you would have had a lot more, probably in a lot of cases not even dealing with MSIMs. So we have a nice focused cross search here. And we can immediately go in and start exploring, but let's say that you have your topic in mind and you're especially interested in feminism in Doll's House by Ibsen. So we're going to enter that as our search term. Notice that it also provides us some other nice suggestions there. That particular one would have expanded our search, but look at what we have here. We have 782. And we can now let's start exploring our results. So in the EBSCOhost interface, which is what we are in now versus the Gale as we were the other time, you'll notice on the left, it tells you clearly what format it is. So our first result is an ebook. Our second one comes from an academic journal. Third one comes from periodical. In most cases, periodical is usually magazine. And sometimes the full text is directly there as item number 1. You click on that, and that will take you directly to, in this case, the ebook itself. And by the way, if you're ever here and you want to know like where feminism was mentioned, we can click on search within here. Enter that, and I'm surprised considering that was item number 1. I was expecting a lot more, but click on that, and then we see where our term is used and how it is used in terms of context. I'm going to go back to result list here because I wanted to show you that for item number 2, it says listed down below here, full text finder. When you click on that, in most cases, it's going to take you to a whole list of places to go. And so it's letting us know that we can get access full text from JSTOR and full text at the publisher's site. We click on, let's click on the one from JSTOR itself because sometimes that publisher's site can be a bit misleading. Any of you who ever search Google Scholar would probably know. So we come to here, and as you can see, it takes us directly to the article itself. It's definitely available to us. Not everything in JSTOR is available to us, but this one definitely is. And then we can go ahead and download the PDF. In this particular case, with JSTOR, there is no email option. So what do you do when that happens? Well, if you select share and then select email, what should be popping up, and I guess I don't have it set up, is however you have your browser set up, you would then send that email. And what it would send to you is the permalink. That is this. That will take you back directly to the article. Another method is you can download the PDF and then send it to yourself as an attachment. There is no direct way to email full text as there is in most of our other databases. So it's just something that I wanted to point out, but also important, as you can see, it takes us to different places. Item number 3, it says Gale View Full Text. We click on that, and as you can see, it's currently connecting, so it's not taking us back to JSTOR, it's taking us to here. And here, it's definitely taking us into Gale Literature Resource Center. Click on the title here. And here, once again, is our article. So, I mean, this is good, especially if you're looking for something specific related to your paper that you're writing. So, especially good if you really thought it out and wrote to yourself what you really want to write about, and it's so specific. That is where I would recommend that you go into Articles Plus or any of our other databases. Other databases here for short story, poetry, drama, now as well as children's books, you want to go into literature criticism online. The Explicator What's nice about the explicator is that your criticisms are usually no more than 2 pages long. So it's an excellent place to not only come up with ideas for topics, but as well as finding a nice criticism that isn't, say, 20 pages long. Sometimes some of the best criticisms can be nice and brief, as they are in the explicator. So we enter in our search terms here. Let's do Doll's House again. Want to make sure, by the way, that's limited to this journal. We're searching only the explicator. And as you can see, we have quite a few nice explicator articles. And let me bring one up so you can see how nicely brief it is. So it starts here and yeah, it continues on to the following page. So that's just a sample here. So we click on PDF to look at the whole article. See, I wasn't joking, only 2 pages for this criticism. This is especially a good place to go if you're still trying to figure what to write about. Now, before I continue, I want to warn you, whatever other critics say, that doesn't mean that that is true. That is how they are reading the work. So if you read differently, you can read that differently. You can still actually use that criticism and argue against it. You can say, while this author says this, I actually found this from, and then use examples from the text of the work you're looking at. So therefore, I believe this, and then better yet, you might find another critic that further backs you up. That's one of the nice things of writing these papers. We really demonstrate that we ourselves become literary critics. Okay, also here is poems and short stories. They include full text of poems and short stories themselves, but also some criticisms, so another good place to go. Master File Complete, a magazine's database in general. Academic Search Complete for a good sample of scholarly journals. Humanities International Complete for humanities journals. JSTOR and Project Muse include arts and humanities journals that include a lot of literary criticism journals. And up here, we also have a number of literary criticism books. When you click on this, you are basically cross-searching a number of ebooks through a particular platform. So here you notice we have some biographies on Haruki Murakami and Toni Morrison. We have some history, such as Encyclopedia of Irish History and Culture and Feminist Writings and American Indian Experience. And then here, 75, actually there's even more, because a whole series includes a whole big, huge number of books that you can cross-search as well, or find individual books. As well as some other ebooks. So Infobase, for example, includes a lot of the ebooks from the renowned Bloom Literary Criticism series. And so from here, we can go to Literature Criticism. And then either scroll down or enter our search terms up here to go to something specific. So say criticism and Toni Morrison. And, that should have happened. Okay, I guess don't include the word criticism. I was one step ahead of them, which just actually makes sense because it already was in the realm of criticism. And lo and behold, we found 366 results, starting with lots of books focus on Toni Morrison or themes in her particular works. So a lot of good, rich resources here. After that, you can look at our ebook collection online, which include a lot of criticisms on its own. In fact, this one is cross-referenced, so we already saw some of them. So say Toni Morrison and Sula. Put that on the second line, and Here we have some definitely critical books on Toni Morrison. Finally listed here are some other places that we can go to that are related to diversity issues. So Black Studies Center, Chicano Database, Gender Watch, the Archives of Sexuality and Gender. And this is being recorded in April 2020. So coming in July, there will also be the LGBT Life with Full Text database. And you can also go there to especially learn more about the author, their works, as well as maybe cultural and historical references related to that work. Now, one last thing I'm going to show you is Dictionary of Literary Terms and Literary Theory. Now, as you're reading a lot of these criticisms, sometimes they're going to come across a lot of sophisticated words and terms. So it often helps to have a dictionary available to you. And so this is the best one. There's also a good encyclopedia in the Gale eBooks resources as well, but this one's especially good to get some quick definitions on the topic. And what I was going to do is search the word motif. So, someone's talking about all the motifs in Toni Morrison's works, especially, say, of birds and the idea of flying. And it's like, okay, I understand what they're talking about birds, but they keep using this word motif. What do they mean? And so you would then look this up. And boys, big stuff. Okay, here we go. And again, we could either search within, or we can search for this alphabetically. So you notice I click here on M, it's all further divided. Scroll down. And there is motif. So we click on that. And here is our definition. One of the dominant ideas in a work of literature, a part of the main theme. It may consist of a character, a recurrent image, or a verbal pattern. Now, the example I mentioned, like birds and flying, that's probably referring to definitely a recurrent image. And so, okay, we now know what that literary critic meant when they constantly was using the word motif and what that is. So that, in a nutshell, is the experience of finding literary criticisms. If you need any further assistance, you can contact me at Norman Buchwald, NBUCHWALD at chabotcollege.edu. Of course, you can definitely contact us via chat reference 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And let me go to actually our, because I know it's directly linked to there. We haven't figured out yet. Probably this link will appear on our general homepage. But especially right now in April 2020, we're currently going through the coronavirus crisis, and thus our campus is closed. If you want to have any more direct assistance from us Chabot librarians especially, click here where it says get help from a librarian via chat or Zoom reference. And then listed here on the right are each of us and our reference desk hours. Yes, just because the library is closed as it is right now, we also are available virtually. And this was true when we were at the reference desk. So we would be providing you assistance via our chat reference. But if you click here, you can then Zoom to us. And as the directions say here, you'll then be directed to a waiting room, and when we're available, then we will admit you into the meeting, and we can talk to you one-on-one. And if you're having any issues, such as you try to access databases from home, and for some reason your WID number and your class web PIN, which should be the 6-digit PIN you get into class web. And for some reason that's not working, and we can ask you, for example, to share your screen with us and narrow down some issues and hopefully come up with a solution. So you'll be able to share your screen. We will also be able to share our screen. So it's definitely something to consider to Zoom with us. Obviously, it will be more preferable in most cases to Zoom us with your desktop or laptop. There might be some challenges depending on how sophisticated your smartphone is. So that's it. Again, if you have any questions, you know who to go to for help. Obviously, any of us full-time librarians and part-time librarians, as well as whoever's currently on the reference desk, as well as the email address I gave to you. By the way, if you go to contact us and you go to library staff, here's a listing of each of us, our email addresses, and when we're eventually hopefully open again, our phone numbers. Thank you and have a great day, and good luck with your research.